Business plan is so badly written. So I got asked to go get a real job.
But there's always that one uncle, na? Journalists are knocking on your door and you're saying, my brother has his own podcast, why do I have to talk to you? How do you define a disruptor? It's probably someone who changes the game forever and in a tangible, meaningful way. My guest today on this series and this episode of The Disruptor is someone who has done it without doubt. The world of capital markets and trading post-Zerodha is probably never going to be the same. What also may have helped is the right time, the right mix of factors, the pandemic, maybe all of that. But what was the inspiration behind what we now know as discount broking? Of course, many others in the game. And what continues to inspire Nithin Kamath, founder and CEO of Zerodha? That's what we're going to start with. Nithin, thank you so much for giving us your time.
Oh, pleasure.
Yeah. So let's start at the beginning. And I think when you started out, was the idea to change things around because you loved trading? First of all, what is a Bangalore boy doing in the capital markets, which is supposed to be, all about Bombay?
No, I was trading the markets from the late 90s, 98, 99 onwards. And till 2009, I used to trade. I mean, in between, I blew my account a few times. So went and did some jobs. 2006, I became a sub-broker. And 2009, when Prime Minister Modi came to power, the day stock markets in India went up, circuit up, and me, Nikhil, Venu, and a bunch of others, we were sub-brokers back then. We shut down the office, we went to a resort, and and I said, that's it. I can't take any more trades. Because I was frustrated. I'd exited all my positions before the event.
Oh, you missed
Yeah,
that.
I missed the rally.
Circuit.
Yeah.
You didn't see it coming.
No one would have seen it. No one could have seen the upper circuit. So that's when I decided to stop trading, and then decided to start broking. And broking was mainly because of NSE Now. NSE Now was NSE's technological platform that they were offering to any new broker who wanted to start offering broking. So before NSE Now, you had to invest in technology. But post NSE Now, you could, anyone, just paying a membership on the exchange could potentially become a broker. And you had a back office. Back office is a platform that you used to process contract notes, etc. And that vendor, I was the first customer. So he said, you beta test for me, I'll give it to you for free. So in a sense, the entire business was probably started with, 10 lakh rupees, 5 to 10 lakh rupees. So, it was never meant to be this, So, I go back and I look at the first business plan that I made. I think the best case outcome was 100,000 customers, as in 100,000 customers forever. As in we had thought that 100,000 customers is it. We never thought we could go any beyond that.
Do you have that business plan framed?
No, but the business plan is so badly written. So
have you kept it?
Yeah, I have it in my email box. So that was it. No disruption and all. And how Bangalore boy?
Yeah, how come you were trading? I mean, is it something which you saw a lot of people in your family doing? Do you come from that kind of a background which is interested in capital markets?
No, I mean, I was, I've said this a bunch of times, but I was living around Marwadi friends, and they got me introduced to markets early. And I started trading 17, 18, and Nikhil is like 6, 7 years younger than me, and he also started trading at 17, 18. I dropped out of college. He dropped out of school. So we come from a family where education is, if you're not done engineering from a A-grade college, people look down upon you. So no, nothing. I mean, I was probably the first businessman in the extended family.
Did you have to, was it a challenge to explain that to your family? Was there pushback that, what are you doing? What is this business? What is this plan?
No, my parents were actually very supportive. Like, right from when I started trading, my dad and my mom supported. But outside of my dad and mom, I got asked to go get a real job. Till 2012, 13, so for almost 14, 15 years of my life, there were people who were telling me to go get a real job.
There's always that one uncle, na? Who is like...
No, but not one, I had many. So yeah, but now that it's worked, it comes across as passionate. But it very well could have not worked, So I understand and appreciate all the luck. I mean, like you said earlier, right place, right moment, everything. It's just ridiculous how much luck has played along.
No, I think you're being a little humble.
Right.
And I'll tell you why I say that. Yes, of course. I mean, you might have a great idea and then nothing else works out. But you did go out and say very clearly that you're going to start a business with a different set of rules, that you will have a flat brokerage fee when everyone else was on a different trajectory, right? You had a percentage of trades. So you went out and did that. And that was brave in itself. It may completely have failed.
No, I mean, as I said, without risk comes no reward. So you definitely have to take risk. But not everyone who takes risk, gets a reward.
What was the concept behind that flat brokerage fee? And, I was just reading an old quote of yours where you say that the old guard, the brokers actually called up and said, what are you doing? Tell us about that.
Yeah. So the concept was, in a online world, the cost of executing a trade doesn't go up with the size of the trade, right? Like if you buy for 100 rupees, 100 shares for 100 rupees, or you buy for 1,000 shares, it doesn't mean the broker is putting any extra effort, right? So the idea was, why should we charge differently? We should probably charge the same. We started with 20 rupees for equity delivery and futures and options, but soon equity delivery became free. I think in 2015 we went free brokerage for equity delivery, and it's the same pricing is remained till date. Was it? It was probably we were probably influenced by the West, right? Because brokers like E-Trade, Charles Schwab, there was. These guys were existing from the late 90s and early 2000s. So they were becoming very popular, and we thought that India is maybe at a place where such a concept can fly. And it flew. Maybe if we had started 5 years back, it wouldn't have. That's what timing really matters. So. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but then also, so one is to have a different idea, and then one is to have an idea that everyone can't replicate. The moat is not very high. I mean, others have now started doing this. It's changed the dynamics. how do you still remain differentiated? I'm just wondering if today, after all of the success and your FY24 numbers, close to 10,000 crores, over a crore of users, I think 80 lakh plus active users, the dimensions have changed completely. How do you continue to stay on top? And do you worry a lot about it at all?
I feel the whole COVID was really, the period of time post-COVID was really like a outlier. So I think the pace of growth that we saw in the first 2-3 years of COVID, post-COVID, I don't think that's really sustainable. And I don't think, I think last year was probably the peak of the broking industry, right? So if you were to ask me, I would say that, because if the broking industry doesn't figure out ways in which it can generate revenue, and it can't be just based on futures and options, it has to be something new. It can't. Then I think the last year would have been the peak revenue. Last year in the sense until October would have been the peak revenue brokers would have made in the next 2-3 years. I don't know. So what differentiates us? See, until 2015, we were a white label product. We were like anyone can copy the tech, right? As in, you have a vendor. If another broker goes to the vendor gives the same platform to him. 2015 is when Kailash, he put out a Kite Web, the web.
Your CTO.
Yeah, a CTO. So he put out the web platform, and today, if you were to ask me, the fact that the platform has been existing for 10 years is itself a moat, right? As in the fact that it's seen all market cycles, and it's it's probably on the 5th version. When I say 5th version, it's not upgrade. It's actually like the thing about our tech team is when they're rebuilding something, they care about all of these legacy issues and things like that, so which can slow down the platform. So it's spent a lot of time, and it's just not Kite. It's Console, reporting platform, Coin, the direct mutual fund platform, all the startup ecosystem that we have invested in, that have come played around, and the brand also, right? A brand is like Zerodha. I still remember the first 3 years, people would be scared to put 50,000 rupees with us, right? But today, we have customers who put 500 crores with us. As in, the fact is, that 1 crore customers together add up to 5 lakh crores in AUM, right? That's what the differentiating factor. So, can someone catch up in terms of product, in terms of potentially, yes. But I know I got a vested interest in saying this, but I think our product is way ahead of its competition.
Who is your competition right now?
Everyone, as in Grow, Upstocks, Sharekhan, Angel, ICSI. Everyone. Everyone's looking at a profit pool and going after it, I'm sure. And but what actually differentiates from the rest of the crowd is the philosophy with which you run the business. That is something I don't think is easily copyable, because and that philosophy comes because of saying customer first, right? As in, every broker, every competitor of ours would be saying he's doing customer first,
yeah.
But we are actually customer first, and like, for example, let me when you get onto a trading platform, any app that you download, the platform will find ways to nudge you to take a trade. They'll say, these are the 5 top stocks of the day. These 5 stocks are getting bought the maximum. So it creates a sense of
urgency,
something like that, for you to take a trade. Or they might say, these stocks have hit the 52-week low. Again, triggering you the urgency. I mean, of course, them sending out stock tips, which I don't think is the right thing for a broker to send out the stock tips, because how can one tip be, same tip won't work for everyone, So we do none of that, right? And it's very easy for the business to say, let's compromise on some of this, some of these ideas, and we could maybe start, engaging our customers this way, and we're not. I remember, NSE sends out this active customer list, where they mention brokers by the total number of active customers, and we are probably number 2 on that list, and we'll probably be number 3 in the list very soon. And that's because of that. That's because we don't engage with the customers.
Doesn't bother you? Do you look at that list? Do you want to be number 1?
No, I mean, of course, who would not want to be number 1, so. But at the cost of what, right? And that's the philosophy which I spoke about, growth at the cost of what? Number 1 at the cost of what? And are you okay with the cost? And we are not okay with the cost. And it doesn't bother us that we are number 2 or number 3 on that list.
Do you look at the markets every day even now? I'm just wondering if that trading ka keeda has gone.
No, I mean, I've never taken a trade since 2009. From that day, I went.
Just none.
No, I mean, I've done test trades, of course, but never a trade with the intention of making money on it. And all the stress of trading is handled by Nikhil, so he manages all the money. So.
But you track markets every day. You look at what's happening.
No.
Do you look at your active numbers every day?
Oh no, not at all. I mean, I probably look at it once in the morning, once at the close. If you ask me how many people traded today, I would not know. Or how many people traded in a month, I would not know. The problem is, we keep track of this number, then you're consumed by it. So I don't know. I mean, this is a style of leadership. I'm not saying that this is the only style of leadership. This is a style of leadership. It's working well for us, and I don't intend to change it.
The interesting thing about your public persona as well, if I may, Nithin, and from the very start, I think you have been very public in your opinion. That's how you've also grown your business. You have been your own brand ambassador, and the business is brand ambassador. Is also sometimes the very clear honesty with which things come. If you think something's going to hurt your business, you come out and say it. Short while ago, you said maybe 2024 is peak for the broking business. I mean, nobody says that. No one wants to tell the truth. So why do you do it? Is it because that's who you are, or do you think that is necessary for the brand? Are you really that unvarnished in real life?
Yeah, I mean, so in a way, that has also helped us build a brand, right? Build a brand that says things as it is. I was not active on social media until 2019. I really went on LinkedIn and Twitter only in 2019. Until 2019, I was basically roaming around the country, meeting journalists and trying to score an interview.
Now it's the reverse. Journalists are knocking on your door and you're saying, my brother has his own podcast, why do I have to talk to you?
No, I mean, the thing was, we saw that happen around 2016-17. The power of traditional media generally dwindling down. And it was kind of, writing was on the wall. And I was probably a little too late, as in, I should have been active from maybe 2017. As soon as I realized that it was the powers were waning. 2019 is when I got on social media, and thing about social media is, people listen to you if you got something different to say. Like we have a nice vantage point, and if you come and say exactly the same thing that other person is saying, it kind of defeats the purpose. And also the thing is, most people have vested, have their vested interests show up, right? As in, when I put my social media shoes on and I'm saying something, I say as a person, as I say as Nithin. And I don't think of Zerodha as a brand, So I mean, there are posts, and it's managed to get some virality and all of that. But yeah.
No, so you're saying you are actually that honest because you post as yourself, not necessarily thinking about what this means for Zerodha. But I think what's also interesting is that you talk very clearly about the impact of some things that regulators are doing. And you've been very vocal about the impact of what kicked in from November 20th, tightening of F&O regulations. I'm just wondering, have you started seeing impact on volumes, less trades coming in? Do you think first of all, do you think it was a good idea, required, necessary?
No, I think, I feel, that weekly options was a really bad idea.
To start it in the first place?
As in, this was 2020, something around 2020, 2019 is when weekly options were given approvals for. And I think giving approvals for such a option contract itself is kind of was a bad idea.
But I bet it made you a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, it did, but it's like money also, in a sense, you look at a 10-year time horizon and you say, do you make money in that much period? And you don't want to suddenly make money and then your business, factors in for this condition to make money, and then suddenly you don't have it, like what we are in right now. So volumes have definitely dipped. It's already down 30%, and January 1st is when the contract size is also increasing. When contract size increases, then people who trade futures will move to trade options, and people who short options move to buying options. And the biggest problem in the market is buying options, right? The odds of you surviving buying options as a trader is really, really low. As in, and the flip side of this regulation is that we are kind of maybe moving people who trade futures to trade short options to move to buying options. And even the STT increase, right? STT increase was supposed to hurt option volumes, but it actually hurt futures volumes because STT is on futures turnover, as in. So all of this is really like bad for the industry.
So bad for the industry, but you're saying good for the investor, because you started off by saying that having these weekly expiries was a bad idea in the first place.
Yeah, and it absolutely was. Mm-hmm. And then once you put that weekly options expiry, and then you had both the exchanges competing with each other, and Monday something, Tuesday something, it was bound to happen. It was bound to happen that they would push it to its brink of failure. So, and yeah.
Yeah. You think it also, in a sense, brought out the worst among, say, your peers? And the reason I'm asking this is because, we did a lot of stories on NDTV Profit. I have spoken to people who started trading in derivatives without understanding the D of derivatives. And they would call people who are just not literate in financial markets. And they would say, I got a call from a broker who said, I will do it for you. Just open the account, just put some money in, showed me some profits, and then I don't know what happened. You think it just lent itself to that kind of a push to jump onto that bandwagon?
I don't think it was India-specific problem, firstly, right? As in, it was more a global problem. People were essentially speculating in everything and anything possible. And so, yeah, like in the US also, the option mania was just ridiculous. As in, and it was a factor of the low liquidity, higher liquidity in the markets and lower interest rates and all of that. So I think, like all around the world, it's kind of tapering down, and in India, of course it's going to take a sharp downturn because of the regulations. But I know, it's a problem in a capitalistic world, right? As in a world where you pay 5 people incentive to do something, incentive to essentially missell, and they would do it, so and there's nothing stopping them from doing it. So it's like that, it's of course I would agree with what you said, that brokers also were responsible for that.
Now let me make the flip side of the argument. When the Indian capital market is now maturing, should regulators be treating investors like children who need to be protected? Is it a bit of nannying that we don't need?
Yeah, I mean, in a way, I feel that maybe regulations are kind of pushing boundaries in some places, So, for example, the T0 settlement, right? As in, I mean, it's going to create a lot of confusion in the market. If the same script is available on a normal settlement, on a T0 settlement, you have 2 scripts. Reliance, like there'll be a Reliance 1 and Reliance 2, and buy on Reliance 2, you get instant settlement or whatever. So or T0 settlement. So and yeah, on Reliance 1, for example, all the liquidity will be on one contract. So. So yeah, should it have been done? I don't know.
Is it the biggest threat to your business right now, and to the industry, of course, but from your perspective, regulation and the uncertainty about what's coming next?
Yeah, it is. I mean, fortunately, all the regulation that could have hurt the Indian business, has already played out. So
you hope, fingers crossed.
No, but there's nothing much regulations can do. As in, the only thing is, of course, as in, they might say F&O trading only for, accredited investors, or something like that. So, that would mean a death knell for the industry, for futures and options as a whole. But apart from that, this is nothing much. The regulations can, change in the future as such. So.
What next for Zerodha? I mean, you of course, a large player, very, very crucial player in the broking space. But then you've now ventured into mutual funds. There is some amount of credit that you're giving as well against, stocks and equity holdings. What next? What's the vision? What's the vision, or are you happy with where things are going and taking it? I'm just wondering, are you one of those very driven, passionate, on the job, on the clock, 24/7 kind of founders, or,
No, I mean, see, the thing is, people mistake that you have to be, outwardly aggressive to be aggressive. We are completely aggressive, but I can be aggressive just like talking to you sweetly, So, no, we are of course looking at growing. I think, like I said, I think broking industry has peaked, as in terms of revenue. For the next 1 to 3 years, I don't see how, the volumes, etc., is going to come back. In terms of all these investments that we have done into the AMC, into insurance, into the NBFC, etc. So these are all like a 2 to 3 year old investments. So they have to, spend some time for it to start materially contributing to the revenue. And that's the eventual goal. Eventually, the goal is to diversify the risk that currently the business has. That is, so much risk is on the broking, and how much is generated of broking as a revenue, and hopefully, someday, we will have. We'll be, I'll not be asked questions mostly on broking. You'll be asking me questions on other things.
Like?
No, like insurance, like NBFC.
So what is the need that you would be serving? When you started Zerodha, the need was very clear, that you're serving the day trader. In this plan of diversification, or where you see Zerodha landing, what is the need you're serving?
Yeah, for example, let's take insurance, right? Like Ditto as an insurance company, endowment. Okay, I'll tell you a story. Okay, I met my friend last weekend, as in this weekend, and I asked him what does he do with his savings. He said he puts into mutual fund, and he's got an insurance policy. And asked why, how many mutual funds do you have? He said, I have 20. I said, what are you doing with 20 mutual funds? Then next I asked him, which insurance plans do you have? He said, I got some endowment plans. I have 50 lakhs cover, but I'll get back, 15 years or something, money back or something like that. So I told him, dude, it's stupid to put money into endowment plans, right? And like Ditto, for example, is essentially sells only health and term, right? And I think in insurance business, in India, is kind of spoiled by people selling.
But again, that's where they get the margins.
No, that's a whole thing. So the need you are asking me, right? As in the need of the hour is someone to be selling insurance plans as insurance plans and not as investment plans. That's like the need. In terms of AMC, we believe India needs a passive only AMC, right? Because a passive guy also doing active is a conflict of interest, right? As in, what do you sell? You will always sell active, right? Anyone comes to you, you'll say, to take my active. But yeah, here's some passive also, right? With insurance, with AMC, it's that. So each of the business has its own, like a moat of sorts, So why we should do what we're doing, So
in the financial needs ecosystem, is where you want to be, and perhaps a bank one day.
Hopefully, hopefully a bank one day, but yeah, currently don't see how, but yeah.
Yeah. So the space is one which is highly regulated, And regulations are subject to change, especially since we're talking about fintech banking. We've seen all through 2024 some of the casualties of regulation in that space. That's one big risk that you're willing to take on. How do you stay ahead of that?
No, it's not a risk we're willing to take. As of now, we're kind of taking it easy on the bank. Like we haven't applied for a bank license yet because of that, because of all the regulation risk that exists in that space. We would have ideally wanted to be a payments bank because that's all we care about. We don't intend to lend money. We essentially need a bank license to be a wallet of sorts, and a payment bank would have solved this purpose. But the RBI has stopped giving payment bank license like many years back, and yeah. So right now we are hoping that something opens up, but yeah, the issue with bank is you have to lend money. That's why how you can be a traditional bank, and most of the times you will have to lend money to people who don't need the money. As in who need the money but
can pay you back.
Yeah, and maybe the way I think about this is people who borrow money to buy things which don't accrue in value is really is a high risk business, right? As in, be it your mobile phone, be it your car, be anything where the value of the property, where the value of the asset depreciates, is something that I believe is high risk, and as a bank you can't not do that. As in, so as of now there's no banking ambitions only because of that.
If I may, Nithin, I want to talk a bit about what this year has been like for you, and I know you've spoken about this openly. Again, something which I found very, very cool. When people go through a huge health event, they tend to shut down. They don't want the world to know.
Yeah.
You came out and you're very vocal about what you went through in early 2024. You had a stroke. Do you want to share why you felt the need to talk about it, what that journey was like for you?
No, it's just in the spirit of the earlier thing what I said, in the spirit of just being open and just being honest about everything is that, it's just, how can I hide if I had a brain stroke and it was not possible. Yeah, even now I'm struggling, so talking to you, I'm coming up with words, as in I can find myself a lot slower, and it's improving with time, but it's been only 9-10 months since the stroke happened, and yeah.
Was that your biggest challenge that you've ever faced? What?
By far, it's because the first 2 months of when it happened, it was basically my whole right side of the body had given up, and the first 2 months I couldn't move as in I could move but slowly and etc. But I couldn't talk at all. So yeah, it was. I mean, I was not knowing what was going on, but yeah, definitely by far the biggest struggle of my life. So.
And the way people reacted to it, you got a lot of advice, medical advice on social media, but also a lot of people saying that, look, this is what happens when you work out too much or you take too much stress, and in some ways blaming you for it.
No, I mean it's natural, as in, see, as in social media is a double-edged sword. As in, to be very honest, I don't look at any comments. As in, I basically post and forget. As in, I don't engage, I don't comment, and it's bound to happen that people have these kind of notions. But I can tell you that, I mean, I am zero stress, as in I don't take stress at all. Of course, my dad had passed away, but that could not, that's not stress, as in that's
grief.
That's feeling, yeah, it's just grief. And then I had COVID during when the stroke happened. I had not slept well, and because sleep is extremely important. As in, I'd gone out of town for, I'd gone to my dad's hometown for, to a bunch of temples, and 4 or 5 days I hadn't gotten enough sleep, and COVID, and dehydration. Probably, all of these things, I understood how important it is afterwards, and so, but it was out of the blue, as in it could have happened to anyone, and it was me in that case.
No, I think also just the fact that you came out and spoke about it, started a conversation around these very important issues, and maybe it's helped someone to avoid something like that happening to them.
Yeah, that's essentially, even with Seema, she had breast cancer, and she wrote a whole blog about her having, what all she did and etc. And so many people reached out, and then saying that blog, somehow helped someone out. So when you're honest and etc., it potentially can help.
Yeah. No. So what keeps you going through all of the dizzying heights of success? I mean, have you? I wonder, someone with so much, do you look at your bank balance? Do you at any point say, oh, first of the month my salary has come? That stopped happening long back.
No, I think personally, money for, both me, Nikhil, or Seema, or some of the guys who are, Kailash and Venu and etc. Some of the core team. I don't think money has really changed our lives. As in, this office, we've been here from 2017. We are at the same office from 2015 onwards, where I sit, and I stay in JP Nagar, and far away from Bombay or Delhi or something, to get influenced by people who make more money than you. As in, the problem is, if you are around a lot of people who are constantly talking money, it can influence you to think about only money, right? As in, I don't think it is really changed our lives as such. In 2018-19, we took out a bunch of money and we said this is enough for our lifestyle, and that brought a lot of freedom, right? As in freedom not just in the sense you're free. More in the sense of freedom to take the risk. That's when 2019 onwards is when we have backed 150 odd startups.
Yeah, Rainmatter. Yeah, we'll come to that. So no, just on that bit. So you took out this one corpus, and you said this is what I need to put away, forget about, so I don't have to worry about money every day. Would you want to share that number?
No, I would not.
No, I'm wondering how much is enough to feel safe?
No, so the thing is, there was a study done in the US. What's the optimal amount of wealth, right? Where people can feel it's sufficient. It was $50 million in the US. I would say it's closer to 100 crores in India. As in, if you have, you typically have, otherwise you have a lifestyle creep. As in, as you earn more, you want more bigger things, or then it's never enough. Like, the real freedom is not wanting money.
What's the most expensive thing you bought for yourself?
No, I bought watches, etc., but I'm right now trying to get rid of that. So, I mean, outside the house, as in I would say the car. That's probably the most expensive thing. I mean, I didn't buy it. My Nikhil and Seema gifted it to me, but still, it's the most expensive thing I have.
Yeah. So, what is your biggest discretionary spend?
No, I don't like to spend on things because I don't enjoy spending on things. But I don't mind spending on experiences. So if I'm traveling, for example, I would pay a bomb to eat in some of the best places. I would pay a bomb to go experience things that most other people would not get to experience. So, but spending money in a sense, it's on things. It's doesn't excite me.
Jiro, I think people watching this right now will be like, this guy got all the money and he doesn't want to spend it.
No, but that's how life is, So you assume that money is going to get you somewhere, and once you get the money, you realize maybe it's not, and maybe it doesn't get you anywhere.
So where does the kick come from? Is it from Rainmatters, where you're saying 140 plus fresh companies that you invest in? What brings that excitement to your
No,
day?
excitement is still, I mean, I love playing poker, for example. Like, I mean, you play poker because you want to win the money, right? As in, I mean, of course, as in, I would be lying if I said money doesn't excite me, as in terms of the drive to go and make more money. Yeah, so in terms of Rainmatter, 150 odd startups is and there are five, maybe around 50 odd social organizations that we are supporting through Rainmatter Foundation. Mm-hmm. So together, maybe 150, 200 organizations that we are supporting from Rainmatter, which we don't really think of Rainmatter as a for-profit thing, as in, I mean, the whole thing is thought of as a give forward or give back to.
And how much is the corpus that you've invested through Rainmatter
I mean,
so far?
the idea is we'll do 10% of the profits. So we have done. We have 1,500 crores as in 10% of all the profits that we have done until date. Out of 1,500, I think we have deployed maybe closer to 1,000 crores, 700 crores in startups and 350 crores in the non-profits. So, and yeah. So and the way I know that I'm saying it's. We don't intend to make any money on this, but I know that just by this kind of startups that come to us and the kind of, the money you're putting, etc., I think eventually it'll turn all right, and it'll be okay.
No, I'm sure you're just not cutting checks randomly. You're listening to pitches and
picking
the
course.
Right ones. What's the best pitch you've ever heard?
Best pitch? No, I think Small Case was the first one. And it's still very close to my heart.
And what's the worst pitch? I mean, you don't need to name the company, but the worst idea you ever heard?
No, I mean, I don't know.
Was it to deliver stuff in 10 minutes?
No. I mean, we don't. We are very limited by all the pitches we receive. It's either in fintech. That's where Rainmatter started off. And even in fintech, we don't do any lending startups. Then it slowly extended to health and climate in 2019, 2020, and storytelling, of course. And then climate extended into the foundation and Rainmatter Climate, and then through that all the non-profits as such. So.
Just a couple of last questions, because I know it's gone on longer than we thought. But what do you make right now of the whole conversation around where the startup ecosystem is going? And the biggest rage right now is 10-minute delivery, etc. And everyone has a view on it. Do you use these services? Do you think it's a good idea?
I mean, I don't use the services. I don't remember the last time I used any service, but I think it's a good idea. Yeah, in a way, in India, they seem to have found something because quick commerce has not really worked anywhere in the world, but in India, it's given how crowded our cities are, it's probably they've probably got something going for this, and overall startup ecosystem. I think we are in the middle of correcting from the excesses of 21, 22, because a lot of startups raise a lot of money at those valuations, and they have to take a haircut now and to further raise. And so I think the startups that are finding a way to stretch until the valuation is in sync with the old valuation.
Or they have to list.
But listing also is not. I mean, this thing would you probably have 10, 15 startups who have listed in India. I don't think listing is it, but yeah.
Yeah. And of course, you've been asked this question a dozen times, but it's one of those must-ask ones. So I must ask you that: is 2025 the year that you think about listing, or you have no need?
No need. And
is it because you don't want to be answerable to shareholders and to regulators even more than you already are?
It's got to do more with the philosophy of the business, and which I told you earlier, the first question you asked, and what differentiates Zerodha from someone else, and that's a philosophy. And once you have shareholders, you're kind of forced to grow quarter on quarter, and forced growth means comes across by compromising a bunch of things, right? And I don't know if you're ready for that yet. And secondly, the thing is, what do we do with the money? We need to be very honest, you raise money to do something, right? What do we do with it? Because we don't know anything that we can do with money right now. So that's also the reason. Thirdly, people say take some liquidity off and all. Our team has got, we open ESOP buyback every year, so they have all the options to exit, and so.
Yeah, no real need.
No real need.
What's the one big goal for 2025?
I don't think I make near-term goals, So you asked me maybe goal for 2030.
Okay, what's the 2030 goal?
No, a bunch of things that we are doing, we ensure they meaningfully contribute to the revenues, like I said, insurance, like I said, AMC, like I said, Zerodha Capital, or so they all meaningfully contribute, and broking is maybe hopefully 25% of revenues, that's a hope, but we need to see how it goes.
And personally, what's the big goal personally? Have those priorities changed after everything you've gone through?
It did change for a while, but I'm back to what it is now. So personally, the goal is both Seema and me have got a bunch of fitness goals, and I have, I need to pick up the guitar again. I have a goal, in terms of being able to speak a bunch of languages, I have So yeah, but these goals are, need to see how it goes.
Yeah.
So.
And I bet working 70 hours a week is definitely not one of them.
No, I mean, it's not. It's, it's, I think you can't really outwork. Life needs a good work-life balance, and you can't really outwork for too long.
Thank you so much, Nithin, for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks.